Rap music, hip hop music is based largely on sampling. I get it. You love making sample based beats, but you don't want to end up getting in any type of legal trouble. You don't want to deal with sample clearance. You don't want to deal with content ID claims or copyright strikes against your channel, or worse. Because trust me, bad things can happen. I've covered them before on my channel. For example, this artist, who I believe didn't even go to a studio. I think he just recorded a viral song on his phone. He got sued for damn near $1 million because of an uncleared sample in the beat. And look, I'll be honest with you, you probably will get away with selling beats online with samples. And certainly if you sell a beat to a label, they'll handle the sample clearance. But if you're trying to get into syncs, you can't use samples. But there's a solution to this, and you get to learn something in the process and become a better producer composer. I'm going to give you 5 steps to learn how to create vintage sounding samples yourself. So number 1, listen to samples, analyze what makes them good. The same way that you listen to beats to learn how to program drums, to learn how to program your hi-hat rolls, to learn how to mix. Listen to samples for the same reason. Listen to how they're composed, listen to the textures, listen to the layers, listen to the types of instruments that your favorite samples tend to use, and use that producer brain to analyze and overanalyze exactly what makes that sample appealing to you. What style is it? Some people like progressive rock. There are very different chord progressions in progressive rock than there are for, say, jazz. The instruments also differ. So be analytical. Same way you learn how to make beats, you can learn how to make samples. The approach is the same. Now, number 2, let's take that a step further and start replaying samples. For me, that was kind of the beginning of me creating samples. And so a lot of people don't know that I've been a part of sample reworks, not necessarily replays, where there will be a beat with a sample and me and my friends will create something new that doesn't infringe on the copyright of the original sample but has a similar feel. So we've done that for artists ranging from Wiz Khalifa to Ari Lennox. But it started because I just wanted to thicken up a lot of the samples, because a lot of the samples that I was using, I would EQ the lows out, so I needed to add more bass, or they were just thin, gritty recordings and I wanted to fortify them by adding keys. So I needed to learn the chord progressions. I needed to learn the root notes of each chord so I could compose a new bass line. And then it got to the point where I was like, wait a minute, if I am adding all this stuff to the sample, what happens when I just mute the sample? Let's take that a step further and create 100% original elements that weren't based on an existing composition. All of a sudden, you're on the path, or I was on the path to creating original samples. That's how tracks like Slaughterhouse Offshore came together. That naturally leads into step number 3, learn more chords. Obviously, it depends on what genre you like to play. If you like gospel, learn gospel chords intentionally. If you like jazz, it's hard. I mean, it's all hard. Jazz especially. Learn jazz theory. You can take formal lessons. You can learn on the University of YouTube. Then number 4, this is important. Learn how to either play instruments or learn how to program like a musician. So what I mean is, I don't play bass, but I still have to write bass lines. My instrument is the keys. How do I voice and articulate my bass lines to sound like a bass player? Well, I have to first listen to how bass players naturally play on an actual upright or electric bass. So it's the same way that, a lot of people are creating string arrangements by drawing in notes, playing on a keyboard, using key switches, automating stuff. You just have to learn how those instruments are played and then find a way to emulate that using your instrument of choice, whether it's the piano roll, whether it's an actual MIDI keyboard, whatever you're most comfortable with. And then number 5, sound design, because sound design is important as well. You can play the best chord progression, you can play the best guitar riff, but it's gonna sound like something you just created this year in 2026. It's not gonna sound like a 70s or 80s or 90s sample, because that sound design is important. So let me show you some steps that you can use for sound design. These are some steps that I use. There are a lot of great sound design tutorials on YouTube as well. So I just started working on some ideas. So right now it sounds like I used a bunch of VSTs, right? And I did, absolutely. So now I'm going to start with Toneflx. In my other videos about Toneflx, I used presets. I'm not going to use a preset. I'm going to go straight to advanced because I learned a little bit more about this plugin since the last time I made a video about it. So this is looking under the hood. There are these 8 individual pedals that you can mess with, and each individual pedal has its own presets. So I could pick one of these, like, you know, clean tape or something, and then it turns on. Now this is tape emulation. There's no saturation. The saturation comes here from overtone. Unstable is what's really kind of the wild card. Drift is just pitch drift, so how much the sample is going to warp and drift from being in tune, being out of tune. So now let's turn drift way up. Let's hear what scrape is. That's when there's a problem, a mechanical problem. We want to use that subtly. And you heard that little glitch, so that's unstable doing its thing. So unstable is just random dropouts, random glitches. It's the wildcard plugin. So then we're gonna go over here to overtone, because this is gonna give us saturation. We can use a preset. If anything, I would probably go into like warm distortion, but we wanna turn the mix way down and the drive down. And you see it has unstable as well. So we have a wild card on each one of these pedals. There's also noise here. You know, anytime you sample, there's going to be that analog noise. So this makes it more authentic. It's a lot of just hearing and figuring out what you really want for this particular sound. And then here on the main screen, I also have drift and unstable here. So I can turn those up or down as I see fit. There's also this down here, echo flux. So tape delay can add, or sorry, tape echo can add a lot to the texture of these samples. You hear the difference? So I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. And then I have this part here. Just a little bit of that drum texture, because oftentimes when we sample, there are going to be these subtle drums that we try our hardest to EQ out. So I don't want to make it a pain in the ass for myself to EQ this out. I just want to keep them subtle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send them to a bus with Toneflx on them. So I assigned this Toneflx to a bus that I'm going to send all the drum sounds to, but there's still Toneflx on the master. I'm going to add more to the master shortly. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right, yeah, I'll use a preset. Let's see what we have. Something subtle. What is Busted Walkman? What does that sound like? Let's hear how that sounds just in isolation. I'm gonna turn the reverse off because I like how this sounds. This is what's on the master. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna save this as a preset. On top of that, I'm going to add some pitch shifts. I'm gonna put that actually before Toneflx. Let's hear how it sounds lower. Okay, without that, with it. And then I have this is a free plugin, Ozone Imager. Now we can either reduce the width so that it sounds more mono, like an old school phonograph recording, or we can expand it. Sounds way better than it did without the sound design. So now I'll just go into another track that I started composing here. And now I can just load the preset I already created. Oh, I added a beat section. I like the chord change. I just haven't finished it yet. All I wanted to create was a vintage texture here. So it doesn't need that much to really work on your samples. Always change the pitch. Let's try 2 up this time. So now let's try what resampler sounds like. That tape delay is really subtle, but it's dope. Let's try something a little more regular. This was just kind of a trap sample that I worked on. Now this is already bounced, so there's already a lot that I could do with it. You know, reverse certain parts. And I'm gonna try this generation option. So let's see. Let's make it weird. No distortion, clean tape, fast reverse. Let's see how this sounds. I like what it's doing here. Hold on. This just gave me an idea. All right, so I bounced it as audio, and now I can mess with it even more. All right, I just added a drum loop from a pack that I'm working on right now, a trap drum loop kit and sub bass. Just quick and dirty. I just wanted to hear how it sounded. This is what it sounds like. Yeah, so now it sounds completely different. You would have never thought, like, you can't identify the VSTs that I used to create that. All right, so this is how you make beats with samples that aren't real samples. You can sample yourself. It's a lot of fun. The main plugin I was using was Toneflx, so if you want to try it out, I have a 30% off code. It's below. Just grab it, get that. 30% off is actually pretty high for a discount code. So shout out to Kavi for giving me that. And let me know if you've tried it out. And also let me know if you have some presets that you like that you can share with me. Jump on the Discord, share it with me. I want to try it out because some of the presets in there that other people had created, oh man, they're crazy. Appreciate you tuning in. Make some samples. Why'd you watch the whole video? Make some samples.